everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Abomination Vaults with Tentacles. That's what I'm calling it from now on, because I just keep tripping over my words. Monster Interrupted Podcast, Book 1 of Pathfinder's 2nd edition, Abomination Vault. There. All better. When last we left our troop, you guys had found some of who you believe to be the human rogues that you were tasked rescuing by Yasmira from the Crooksnook, the local nudge nudge wink guild operator, and you guys were offered a tidy sum to return 4. Okay, well, we found 3. 3 to 4 is not bad. Maybe sing that to her on the way back. Of her people. You guys decided that they were banged up and in terrible, terrible shape, and since you don't have your Dwarven Cleric on hand, some ready-deady potions from our alchemist kind of got them a little bit better in ship shape, and you guys have returned to Otari. Where would you want to take these guys? To the Mare? To the Crooksnook? To the Temple for immediately healing on their own bill? I'm assuming you guys are going to go like right to the Crooksnook and go, here's your people, pay us before they die. You know, you don't want them dying in triage. You're going, oh, well.
Yeah, I think knowing what the Crooksnook could be might be better to let her handle them. Okay.
Like the old criminal gunshot wound, no hospital. Whether she's going to take them or look after them herself, she does not seem offended that you didn't try to heal them up. You did the best you could, okay? And she does pay you guys the agreed upon amount with the hope and promise that you'll still keep a lookout for her 4th member. Under the original agreement, I'm looking at a certain goblin that I'm sure might try to renegotiate the terms after being fully paid by bringing the 4th member. So, if I can get maybe 3 hands and a paw against a goblin hand that you guys are going to get paid full price right now, and she's very grateful that you'll at least keep an eye out and help possibly rescue, or or at least tell her what happened. And she doesn't want an arm brought back as proof. Again, looking at our goblin, she wants, the body or the man, the woman, the rogue returned. So, done quietly, done discreetly, and done quickly, with your pockets laid with the agreed upon amount, you guys scatter to the winds, and I'm pretty sure our orc is going to stay and have some fresh crab on the house, aren't you?
This is my favorite place in town.
Okay. Our goblin goes off to see how Monkey is doing, as he puts it. The alchemist just sort of hangs around to see what everybody else does, and then possibly just drifts off. Which brings us to Karam. Yes. Leaving the Crooksnook, heading to your tavern, heading to the temple to find the dwarf, which is also an archive full of books that might interest you, heading to the mayor to report on any new findings. Well, unfortunately, you guys sort of finished up business and haven't really kicked the gauntlet in the irons yet. I mean, the deal with the mayor was get in there, whatever's making that light go, stop it. So I'm assuming you guys are almost doing the low profile in town. Like, you guys aren't exactly coming in like hailing, hey, the heroes have returned, because the mayor's going to want to see it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would probably go to a library.
Okay. Go to the archives, where most likely you will run into our dwarf, where he's been studying religion, or maybe he's with the garrison, because you guys left him to protect the town in case the spotlight shone down while you guys were gone. The archives are well stocked. This is a temple devoted to the goddess Sarenrae. However, it also is sort of the town library and a public archive to the Inner Sea region. It's sort of a famous little establishment. It's beautiful. A main round spiraled structure in the center and 2 side towers, also rounded domed, sit at the very base, ironically, of the graveyard that you guys protected the inhabitants from. Well, it is a temple, and, next to the church you have the local graveyard. There's that winding path, but can't help but notice the irony. Karam, what interests you here in the archives of Nethys? I mean, shout out to the archives of Nethys. I mean, here in the archives of Saren Ray. Is there any topic you're interested in, keep those recall checks fresh?
Like to look a little bit more on just autopsy type things. So when you look at bodies and things, you can tell what caused the damage, what creatures might have afflicted the wound, things like that. Trying to figure out some past issues I've been dealing with. Okay.
There's several volumes. There's Newt Gunray's Magical Beasts and How to Fend Them Off. There's McGilligutty's Sorry Your Friend Died, Let's Not Have This Happen Twice. There's Lefty's Guide to Everything on the Right Side, and the list goes on and on. Pulling a obscure in size and age and volume text, taking, they have those large tables everybody goes to read at. Make your selections, you sit down, and you're finally in the zone. You're away from the party. This is you time, and you get to relax and do what you want to do. And no sooner do you crack the first page, there's a polite, high-pitched little directly across the table from you.
Graham will look up and kind of acknowledge.
You see another one of the kindred spirited, as you say, the small folk, though not a halfling. This gentleman is a gnome with, of course, brightly colored and elongated eyebrows, a bit of a bowler hat, green, almost making him look leprechaunish from the stereotype. And around him are quill, ink, parchments, scrolls, not books. And it actually looks like he's writing out something or copying something, because he seems to have scrolls or whatever that belong to the library, and then he seems to have his own, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But he doesn't strike you as a clerk. Can I have social knowledge, please?
You mean society?
Yes, society, sorry.
I got a 15 trained.
Okay. The cut of his jib, clothes, and without looking like you're doing a crotch check, a quick glance on the table, boots and shoes can tell a lot about a person. He tries to snappily dress from the waist up. A emerald vest, not nobles, but courtier-style clothes. It's a guy that can blend in, almost the proverbial professional business suit that can go anywhere, right? Pants are plain but durable, and the boots are definite utility. So this guy travels. Probably not a clerk. Maybe a visitor. Well, I mean, Otari is one of the traveled hubs, though it's a tiny little town compared to Absalon next door, where, you are a little bit more familiar. Anyway, you give him the nod, look him up and down. He's just staring right back at you, smiling, tapping his pen.
I'm sorry, is this spot taken?
No. Anyway, he rumbles through his scrolls for real quick, and dwarf, half-orc, halfling. Yes. You're not from around here, are you? Are you?
No, I don't come from around here.
I don't remember seeing you at the Stargazers tents. You wouldn't happen to be a certain halfling this town, shall we say, owes a grand debt to?
No, I probably would not say that, no.
Oh, sorry, mistaken identity. Well, my name is Jargin Whitmore. Rumor monger, bard, and aficionado on fishes and whatnot extraordinaire. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. And he stands right up on his chair, leans over, plants a palm, like a child, because it's a big desk, and reaches way over so that he can reach your hand politely.
Okay. I'll reach back out and grasp his hand.
Okay.
I'm Karam.
Anyway, taking note of your hand, he turns it over, holding it firmly, right? And he's like, calluses. That's a good sign. You use these hands for more than perhaps... Oh, is that a scar? And he kneecaps onto the table and wiggles over and just draws up your arm and reveals a recent scar from a battle that you've been stitched up by one of the guys going, ooh, you sure you had no part in defending this town recently?
Oh, defending the town? Sure, but calling me a hero or some sort? No, I don't think so.
Ah, true. Perhaps hero is too grand a word. Anyway, he, bum scoots to your side of the table and then scoots around beside you. So now he's sitting on the table facing you, but to your right, and his legs are draped over the table. So he's facing behind you, turned to face you, beside your book stack. Okay. He does sort of he gets all the way there, then holds up a finger oh, I forgot something. Rolls backwards, grab one pen and ink, and comes flipping back in perfect writing position. So he says, so, tell me, Karam, where are you from?
Oh, I come from Absalom.
Oh,
it's a pretty big city.
Yeah, city next door. Do you have... From Absalom. Do you have family there?
Oh, yes. My mother, father, and sister are still over there.
Oh, small family.
Yes. Very, very small.
And may I ask, pray tell, what does your family do for a living?
Oh, is this for something? I see you're writing quite a bit.
Oh, yes. Well, I've extensively researched the town's history and gazetteer, and I've noticed the past decade sort of a falling off. Otari has a very unique and very fascinating history, don't you know? And, well, I'm hoping to add to it. And since, of course, luck be have it, and he looks around so no one hears him and leans in, not that it's necessary, does the big stage whisper, the Gauntlight ruins have seemed to become suddenly active. Well, we live in exciting times once again, and I plan to chronicleize it every last bit, starting with a... And he mouths the word hero, but gives you the big wink I'm not saying it. You. So, tap, tap, tap. Small family, destitute, last loaf of bread, sends their only son out to make money the only way he knows how. Mortal Kombat. Come on, you can tell me.
It's nothing quite like that. My father and mother are merchants, and my sister is working to learn the trade of them. I saw a different path for myself, though.
You classically trained in martial arts, swordplay, wizardry, arcane, or... And he suddenly looks around and seems mindful that he's sitting on a temple's table. Quickly scoots off and stands beside you and brushes himself off, or something in the holy and divine.
No, I've learned on the experience, I suppose. I like to look around and take in my surroundings, if it were. You tend to learn these things growing up in the coins.
You're an observer? Oh, the coins. Yes. He says, and sort of you can't help but he kind of his head looks down at his purse, and he turns his hip so it's further away from you ever so slightly. Not too subtle about it, but I see. He says, so tell me, why Otari? With the whole world offering many wonders, I'm assuming to go from somewhere, the big city of Absalom, to come here is a bit of a downslide for you, wouldn't it be?
Ooh, a downslide? I don't know about that. You see, there's a family that came to me, and they just had a murder in their family, and they could not go to the guards, so they hired me to find out what happened to them. In fact, I'm here right now researching a little bit more about what happened. You see, he died, but there was only one mark on the body. But I heard a rumor that a similar death happened to Otari not too long ago. That's when I ran into, I believe, a Rin. She said if I helped out some people here, I might be able to find a clue about what happened to that mysterious murder in Absalom.
Really? Ooh, his eyes get really wide. Anyway, suddenly he becomes a flurry of questions, asking about the murder, asking about your skills as investigator, or do you possibly work for the guild, as in, like, shall we say an enforcer or a fixer that, makes problems go away, looks into it for a crime boss, and then fixes the problem, you know what I mean? You seek a future in law enforcement, or perhaps for one of the guilds, and he just the questions are coming practically faster than you can logically answer them, but as long as you entertain him, he will stay with you, and he will write down your story. Anyway, a little bit of ways later. Let's see I've got this straight. Law enforcement, possibly, guild. Yeah, and he starts, checking boxes like, make sure I've got the whole story. Blah, 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 blah. This. Anything else you'd like to add at this time? Something we haven't covered?
No, I think that covers almost all of it. I feel a little lightheaded and woozy from all the questions and answering.
Oh, I'm sorry. I suppose I've taken liberties, he says. I'll tell you what. Anyway, he scratches out a piece of paper, and he gives this to you. And he's like, if you're ever in need of... And he just taps the paper, like showing you what the item or the thing or, the service is, right? I think you'll find this venue kinder to us small folk than, the Longshanks. And he slides it over as a favor to, thanks for the interview.
I'll gratefully take it.
Okay. Well, I need to stretch my legs and find our next hero. I don't suppose you can point me in the direction of another member of your party.
Oh, there might be a big fellow over in... what was that? The Crooks and Nook, I believe.
Oh, yes. And you said you weren't interested in joining the guild. Guilt by association, though, eh? Right. Well, anyway, slaps his legs, goes right under the table, pops up on his side, and with a flurry of hand motions, stuffs all his scrolls and maybe a couple of libraries on loan into his satchel, and with a genuine gnomish farewell and salute. As we say in gnomish, not my problem. See ya! And the door he goes, leaving you with your books and finally some peace and quiet in medical research. Soon after, the scene switches over to the Crooksnook Tavern, where, in full swing, our orc is in the middle of eating his way through the generosity and then probably cutting into some of the money he just made with it having an eating contest with the local big lad. And they're chanting, go, 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 type of thing. Anyway, this guy has been scarfing seafood, which can be volatile, for the last hour. Anyway, first to spew, not you, and you win. But unfortunately, you guys consume so much beyond the oh, here's our contest, pay to get in, blah, blah, blah. You kind of break even once again. Anyway, victory is yours, Kraga.
And I go up to the bar and I ask for a cup of grog.
Okay. And let them clean up the mess of their own guy spewing everywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
You sit down and you're waiting for your grog, and you hear this reek, reek, reek noise beside you. You look to your left, and 2 stools down, you see a gnome slowly spinning, making it squeak on a wheel. And he's turning like a little kid enjoying a ride. Hello there, big guy. My name is... Oh, he stops himself on the bar, hops quite deftly onto the stool next to you, and sticks out a little hand. A gnome greets you. My name is Jargin Whitmore, and I understand that you personally had a big hand... And he looks at the size of your arm and nods. Yes, it is. In saving this town's future recently.
Oh, yeah, I think I've seen you around town. How are you doing today?
Not too bad, not too bad. How about I pay for that grog, and you, sir, tell me your story, because I have readers, not just in this town, but in Absalon and abroad, that would love to know more about that. And he sort of leans in like it's not polite to talk about, the Gauntlet situation, anything you've got going on with the law enforcement and mayor of this town, or, realizes where he is.
What'd you say your name was again?
Whitmore, Jargin Whitmore.
Whitmore?
Rumor
Yeah,
monger,
have a
bard,
I
and
got time.
fishy aficionado extraordinaire. Awesome.
Yeah, have a seat. I've got time for sure.
Awesome. All right. So.
Have you ever tried the lobster here?
Oh, no. I'm allergic to seafood. Right. Actually, the air and the smoke is, I probably only got about 30 minutes, so. How about we start with, anyway, he's just magically starts producing like quills, pens onto the bar, blah, blah, blah.
Here,
nods to the bartender. Two more.
Let's cut to the chase. I lean in close and I'm like,
okay.
I'm here because I'm part of the Whispering Tyrant cult, and I'm looking for a way to resurrect my master and rule the world.
Okay, there's this horrible look on his face and a pause, and he does the math.
And then I just tap him on the back with my huge hand. Just kidding, buddy.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah. Yeah, like he like, you ever see anyone use their cheeks to bum walk a couple inches? Like he just kind of scoot to the very edge of his chair. Okay, so where are you from, big guy?
Well, have you ever heard of a small place called the Tusk Mountains?
I wouldn't say they're that small. They're is it a small mountain range or a large mountain range?
Yeah. There's a place in there called Rashkator. Most people try to stay away from it. It's ruled by some great red dragons named Shelbist and Tirkalis.
Whoa. You're from a place that's actually ruled by dragons? He bum squeaks back closer to you. You're kidding me. Tyrant's honor?
Tyrant's honor.
Awesome. Yeah, back to the
It's not something
bartender.
I try to hide.
Back to the bartender. More drinks here. Dude, you got a hot... He's like, all right. So he leans in. Yeah,
most people don't ask me, but I also don't like to... I don't talk about it that often. But I had a younger sister there, and at some point we were separated, and I was left alone to survive, and I ended up finding somebody who took me in after I nearly died from like falling off the mountain.
You're pulling my leg. Do you read this in a book somewhere? You sound awfully educated for an orc. I mean, no offense, but usually when I run into a gentleman of your stature, it's all, crag smash.
That's partially thanks to the person who raised me. It wasn't an orc. His catfolk, or I called them grumps. It was the first time I ever saw something like that. I always grew up around other orcs. We worked and just did whatever the dragons ordered us. And then one day, like I said, I fell from the mountain, and grumps picked me up and taught me the ways of common folk.
The furries? Wait a minute. So you were a slave?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that makes more sense.
Yes.
Dragon communities of what do they have you doing? Mining? Building?
Yeah, basically, we cleaned up their shit. We built their nesting grounds.
Did they feed on you?
Yeah, they used us for sacrifices and
really? Here, show me on the dragon puppet where they touched you. Okay, sorry. Go on.
Anyways, Grumps helped me learn the ways of the Maul, taught me combat and how to survive on my own.
Is that Grumps plural, or that's the guy's name?
That's the guy's name, Grumps.
Grumps, the cat folk person.
Yeah, he's a good teacher.
And they dwell at the bottom. Is there like a cat folk community at the bottom of this mountain, hiding out from the dragons?
He was a lone traveler, and he just was researching that part of the world at the time, so happened to stumble across me in the wilderness.
So did he take you away from there?
Yeah, took me under his wing and felt bad for me, so I guess I got on his good side, and he taught me things, the ways of battle, like I said.
That's fascinating. Where did he take you? Where did you learn these things?
We traveled across outside of the Tusk Mountains and through the lands beyond there that I can't even remember the names of anymore. And eventually, when I was old enough, I came back to the camp and Grumps was gone. And he just left me with the remaining, with like enough to get me on to the next town, and I assumed like that was just his way.
I don't feel so bad. I had a deadbeat dad too myself. So very young age, you survived a treacherous fall after being slave to a dragon, and were trained by a lone traveling catfolk who used a maul. Just like that one. He points at your weapon. You traveled beyond the Tusk Mountains and eventually made your way here. What brought you here?
I just, in the last town, I ran out of prospects and figured this was the next closest place. Trying to build up enough money and knowledge to head back to the mountains someday, so I can challenge the dragons.
Back there? Oh,
I want to try and find my sister.
You want to free your sister and your people?
Yes.
Well, that's a noble cause. Well, I'm as open-minded gnome as the next guy. I know it's all until your sister, but do you have any proof?
Well, you see this tusk here? There's splinters of silver in it, hence the name Silver Tusk, and that was from the fall, and I had to repair my tusk with the catfolk helped me use silver to do it.
Oh, so you weren't. I thought you were going to say you were mining silver for the dragons, but so he's sort of a dentist, this catfolk mall trainer.
It was what we had at hand, and it worked. But yes.
Okay then. It's just like he was writing it all down, right? Okay.
It helped my tusks are larger.
I suppose I could always pass this off as a work of fiction, but okay. Here's you. Anyway, he buys you grog, through your story, keeps you drinking, keeps the story coming, and again gets to an end part and kind of like does a recap. This grog, furry, malt, silver tooth. Blah, blah. Did I miss anything? Was there anything you want to add? Is there anything you could tell me about? What brings you here? Besides making money to go, or raising an army or something, but why Gauntlet Ruins? Why risk your life there? You think there's a dragon in there, like a practice run?
I just need to become stronger, and the more challenges I face, the more likely I'll be able to defeat the dragon someday.
Okay. As soon as he starts questioning you directly about Gauntlet, the room gets a little quieter. And not music and ambient and people. It just seems to be like there's a bunch of people that are all just kind of like leaning and drinking and listening, when he says, what are you doing in there? And there's like dragon in there, practice runs. Anyway, they read this loudly as if for the onset. So no dragon known at this time in the ruin. Okay, good. Writes us all down.
There were some interesting books in the library here that I had scribe help me go over and learn some more about the dragons.
Cool. Anything you want to add? So you've been researching the dragons here at the temple. Oh, now that makes sense. Okay, now I see. All right. Okay. Some validity after all. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Well,
the scribes, they're actually pretty great.
He opens his coin purse. Well, it's getting a little dry, and you're looking a little wet. You're sitting there like starting to, like you're full of seafood and beer.
Yeah.
But thank you, my friend. Thank you. And I must say, he says, and he scratches out like an IOU address, maybe his phone number. You have no idea. He mumbles something about this will be used for you at the right time and slides you like a little note. Anyway, do you read?
It's Whitmore, right?
Yeah, Jargin Whitmore. That's right. I'll be around town. I plan on getting.
Yeah, we'll see you
I
again
plan on
sometime,
getting
man.
to the bottom of this town. He plans on staying months. So, you know, he talks about doing a revised history. Nothing's happened here in decades. Now the Gauntlet has popped up around the time he just decided to come here on a whim. So he sees that as fate. And then poof, hero after hero. I mean, sorry, I know you don't like to be called heroes. Is that a derogatory term now? Public servants. Freelance meatbags. Okay. Tries it a couple terms. Anyway, he thanks you, shakes your hand, and
You got anything you want to tell the mayor? I'm pretty close. I know him pretty well.
that I want to tell the mayor. Could you get me an audience with the mayor? Could you get me an interview with the mayor? He perks right up.
Possibly.
Oh yes, all right, but not today. Not today. I know
I'll
he
put in
got
a
to book
word.
it. Yeah. Oh, please do. Yeah. Get back to me on that. All right. Anyway, I'm going to leave you to your business. I've taken up too much of your time, and I must go and find the next wannabe novelist writer. You know. Anyway. So anyway, very polite to you, but always on the side of his
Look
face.
for
Is
a short, bald dwarf with a big beard and big earlobes.
I think I saw one at the hairdresser having his ears waxed and his beard dyed. Nah, couldn't have been him. Okay, thanks, man. Anyway, he toddles off. You open the note. It's written in Gnomish. You gotta have it translated.
What is this chicken scratch?
The scene now shifts south a little bit to the lapping shore of the Otari Harbor. Specifically, where the dock meets the shore, there is a cliff face to the east where the logging flume dumps. And then there's a significant drop and sea level, as it were, for the town and a dock where, as you see on the map here, number 13, the Otari fishery resides. The scene comes down on a certain Jargin Whitmore, a gnome, bard, rumormonger, and gazetteer, and he's pestering our proprietor, one Tammy Tandervell, a jolly woman, late 40s, lost a leg, and the gnome is a little distracted by this fact. Not far from this conversation, I believe our own Joseph Davis, who is playing Grogtot, the hobgoblin alchemist, was wandering around the vicinity during his downtime. What exactly are you doing out here?
Well, I'm looking for reagents to make some fancy concoctions with. Nothing that's like combat focused, but a little bit of seaweed pinched with some mussel shell goes wonders for it's an antacid. It does really good to help the digestion. And then maybe pulling up some of that seawater, spinning it in a little centrifuge, and a little bit of bitterwort can go a really long way as a sleep aid. So I'm just, refilling my kit, getting some supplies to make sure I can help people as best I can, because then maybe they'll like me. And then, that kind of stuff.
Okay. You notice the two on the dock, and Tammy is rebuffing the gnome for an interview, and he's asking her very loud personal questions. He's got quill in hand or whatever. Now, I don't know if you've crossed paths with this guy before, but I have him popping up all over town, in between some of the players, minutes apart, even hours apart. So if you guys cross paths with each other, you might be warned who this is. However, Grogtot, kind of a loner, goes off, come back. You're probably not sure who Jargin is and what he's been doing to your party. So when he spots you and suddenly excuses himself from harassing the jolly and irreverent Tammy Tanderville, who says, I got work to do, but, bend my ear a little bit longer there, short stuff, that's fine. Hey, my eyes are up here. Of course, he's just staring at the prosthetic leg, not anything else. I mean, gnomish height does not work well for being polite in that kind of company. You there! Looking up the dog, he just suddenly points at you. You're bent over this. So at the end of the dock, there's Jargin and the building, and east along the bank, 50 to 100 feet, there's you collecting, leaning over, maybe with your waders on, that kind of thing. And he spots you and seems to recognize you, or maybe you're in trouble. Who knows? But you there. Anyway, he nods, tips his hat, starts stuffing scrolls and everything into his pack, shoulders it, and he starts, huffing it as much as his size can allow down the dock and directly towards you along the shore bank. What do you do?
I'm going to drop all of the reeds and grasses and mussels that I'm holding and hold my hands in the air. I swear I didn't take these from person.
You there. I must speak with you. Anyway, comes running up, right? Do you move? Do you leave? Or you just drop
no.
the evidence and look innocent?
Yeah, basically. I drop everything, throw my arms up, and when he's not pulling a weapon badge or brandishing anything at me, I'm just I'm going to slowly start picking up the stuff again, not breaking eye contact with him.
What am I fit?
A cat at their food bowl when you're walking up to them.
He comes running up, plops down his pack, rips it open, and starts ruffling through it, and then all of a sudden just his momentum of getting into his pack suddenly catches up with him, and he starts huffing and puffing like, Kung Fu Panda Po getting to the top of the stairs, and he's like, hi, oh, yeah.
I'm gonna present my water skin for him. Do you need a drink?
Oh, thank you. Very kind. Anyway, he steps off the lip and just sinks right up to his nose and eyeballs, and then just starts this hat and bright eyes and two antenna sticking up eyebrows, as Gnome are known for, just kind of start wading towards you, and then right out of the water pops out the hand grasping for the water skin. He takes it underwater, puts it in his mouth, drinks from it, closes his mouth, hands it back to you, gives you a thumbs up, does a 180, and then just sort of breaststrokes his way back and clambers out, and then sits on the bank and starts wringing out his hat, and then his socks, and then dumping out his boots, all the while talking to you. Oh, thank you, my good man. Oh, I really needed that. Whew. The seawater's also refreshing. Bring me back to life. You know what I mean? Starts unwinding an endless scarf and wringing it as he's unwinding each loop. So, I understand that you are a recent addition to our heroic party of late, Mr.
It's Grogtot.
Grogtot. Oh, he dives for his pack, even though he's still dripping wet, pulls out parchment, gets the ink going, right? Maybe just kind of lets his cuff drip in the ink to some of the solid ink, that's hardened like model paint. Gets it going again. Grogtot, how would you spell that? Is that your whole name, or is that your first name and your last name?
What's the last name?
Right. Grogtot. I'm assuming that's how it's spelled, how it sounds. Well, at least in common.
Correct, yes.
There's an interesting question. How many languages do you speak, my good man?
Just a few. I speak the common tongue, the trade tongue, as it were. I also I speak the tongue of the, and I'm going to say goblin in goblin, which I imagine isn't goblin, but mostly those.
I speak a little goblin myself. Check this out: Crexus, Cruxus, Sexus Oilus, Alpha Seducis. Huh?
That was a collection of words, yes.
Kill my lawyer. All right. Anyway,
you shouldn't kill your lawyer. They're a very valuable tool.
Yeah, it's kind of lost in translation. I'll tell you what. We'll just stick with the facts. I want to know. My readers want to know why all of Absalon. He starts rocking back and forth excitedly on the edge of the shore bank. Want to know your story? How does I gotta put this politely. Distinct gentlemen like yourself come to adventure with the more common folk of Otari. Where are you from?
Well, the reason is typically necessity, I think is the word. Not a lot of people need medical support that they can come see when you can just go see your priest down the road. So adventurers can use my medical benefits. And then I also make things like these little antacid tablets. They're really good when you've had a really heavy meal. Trust me, it's very important. But,
I've heard of your trade. Alchemy applied to science and medicines. Your, what's the word? Chernobyl. No. Chachi. No.
Chihuahua? No, that's not it either.
No. Turgeon.
Yes, I think that's what they called it. I don't know. I just know medicines. My mom taught me.
Oh. And where's Mom now?
If not dead, a forest in, I believe the country is called Andoran.
Really? You know, for a few silvers, I could arrange postage, and if you want to, drop a line to good old Mom, I bet she'd be so proud of your accomplishments here. I know a lot of the townsfolk are.
My mother would not be very proud of me helping people. No, she is, I believe, the people call a hag, and not in the slang way. I think literally, she is of the hag folk.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's it. That's interesting.
It is why I have this pinkish complexion. Not a lot of hobgoblins are pinkish.
He says, not to pry, I know we just met, but, for people like shock value in the Gazetteer, are you admitting that your own mother has cursed you?
Well, no, I mean, maybe. I don't know any different. I was a baby and grew up among hags. I think we're called changelings, and then eventually, if we decide to give in, we can become hags too. But I don't want to be like my mom. She's kind of mean.
Well, you know what they say. Eventually, you'll become your father, at least. So, anyway, he starts reviewing his notes. You're from here, raised by a single parent. Abused as a child, right? He's mumbling a little word like abused as child. Level type of thing. Not proud of himself. So how did you come to meet, the others?
I left Andoran, snuck aboard a ship, and then went to Absalom, where I was with a thieves gang. Maybe gang is too strong. It's a group of people that did some thieving things. And I patched their wounds. And then after they were busted by the local guard, I fled and came to Otari. And I was pointed out by a local soothsayer saying that I need the help. And I'm like, okay.
Ooh. An outlaw from another town, wanted. Are you being hunted by marshals?
Well,
don't worry,
no.
I can keep a secret.
But, I mean, that's the whole thing you're doing. You're writing to publish this, right? That's definitely not keeping a secret.
Oh, well, no. I mean, how can I put this? Before this actually goes to publication, I either need you to sign off on, using these facts, or the names and locations will be slightly changed to protect the innocent. Not that you're claiming that you are, but not to worry, not to worry.
I wouldn't say I was an outlaw. I didn't actually do any of the stealings. I just patched up the people that were doing the stealings when they would get hurt.
Think of it this way. I want you to think of yourself as a future paragon. Not right now, but in the future. A paragon of your people. A chance for changelings and people like yourself to take that chance, to take that risk, to break the mold, to step into a different vocation. Be anything you want. I mean, my mother wanted me to be a dentist. And he smiles at you, right? He's got a perfect smile. But he's like, think of it. I didn't work on my own teeth. My dentist did. And I couldn't top his work, so...
You do have a delightful bedside manner. I think you would make a very good dentist.
Thank you. Jeff enjoys playing this character. I would like to see more of myself. But I digress. Where were we? Mother, abuse, town... Here, right, the party. How do you fit in with the lads? I understand the dwarven monk, very spiritual fellow, has been spending some extra time at the temple. Rumor has it that he actually has a few divine powers to loose upon his friends along with your scientific method.
Yeah. We both provide a very necessary talent, which is unhurting people. He's just very good at also hurting people. I am not so good at that part. But mostly just kind of being the I patch the punches. I don't know. I've never been asked so many questions before.
You're saying your own fellow compatriots hurt you?
No.
He reaches into a pouch. Can you show me on the hobgoblin doll where the monk touched you?
Do you have a doll for each?
Oh, nothing. This is future project marketing. And he just puts it away.
No,
sewn pink little dude.
It's when my compatriots get hurt in the line of doing the adventuring duties that we do. Duties. I
gotta use that. He just writes it in there. That's good.
I patch them up and make sure. I believe when kids get hurt, it's making the owies go away. So I'm doing bandages, little salves, maybe this giant needle full of fluids.
He says, "So tell me, what's with the getup?"
It's armor and clothes. It's all I own. It's my only outfit.
Really? Huh?
Yeah.
I don't know. I expected more of a lab coat, or I don't know, one of those headbands with the big disc, on the top so
hard to keep clean.
After you won the hearts of every last town member here, I think you should actually go to Absalon, the City of Splendors. Ask the halfling. He'll set you straight. He'll probably set you up with a nice dentist or doctor. Or, maybe you could own your own practitioner. Hey, which brings us to my next question. Where do you see yourself 5-10 years from now? What's in the future? Tell me about your aspirations, your dreams. Where would you like to take this practice?
Wherever people need help. I don't know.
Golorian's a big place. You're thinking about a small little town like this and opening your own shop, and then the wounded come to you.
Maybe. I never thought about that.
He points at the fishery. Take Tammy, for instance. She gave up a lucrative position as captain among the Grey Corsairs to retire here for a safer job here. Now, it might have had something to do with her losing her leg earlier. Who knows? But it's a fishery. The fish come to her. Fishermen bring the fish to her. And she looks well off. She seems happy, certainly in a good mood all the time. Think about that. Like an apothecary.
That's a big word.
Now, of course, I'm thinking in the future. I mean, have you ever heard of the Rose Guard? They named this town after one of their heroic rogues fell in battle, the man that didn't make it. We'd hate to see that was to be you, somebody opening a apothecary in your name, and you don't even get any of the profits or the residual dividends or benefits. I suggest, as soon as you're done fixing this place, and he kind of looks and lightly gestures at the swamp, almost not wanting the swamp or the gauntlet to notice that he's pointing it out. This town will love you. I mean, absolutely love you. Women will line up, landlords will drop their prices and their daughters' pants. I'm telling you, you guys are on the way to superstardom, and I'm going to help. And he's tapping, the paper. This is just the beginning. Anyway, the scene begins to fade back. The gnome continues for quite a while, handling our poor shy hobgoblin, planting ideas of grandeur in his head. A little while later, the scene now comes down here in town on number 7, which actually on the map there, it looks kind of faded. Our young goblin was on his way to a bookstore opened and run by a certain wizard and his husband by the name of Odd Stories. And the scene comes down to this bookstore now, and on the front of this bookstore, one can see a sign that was commissioned by Morlebint in hopes of to portray the power and imagination, while the fanciful fiction works and anthologies that are his own speciality, The sign above the front door depicts a stack of open books with lines of magical energy rising from the pages. It's almost, I wouldn't say it's a flashing neon sign where it's like each glyph lights up in order, like the old 70s Vegas. No, it looks like an animated, like real magic and illusion. Lucy disappeared a little while ago. You've been searching the town for her, young goblin, and finally decide it's getting too late in the day. You have appointments to keep. You're going to go to Odd Stories. You wanted to browse, buy some magic, whatever you wanted to do, as we had discussed off the air here. When you get there, marveling over the clever sign and open up, who should you see inside but Lucy herself? There are a couple of customers, and like those coffee shops and bookstores that have like a section where you could like maybe just over a watchful eye, but like have a look at the book and thumb through it kind of thing, like a little stool and a bench, whatever. There is a gnome talking and laughing, sitting on an adjacent little chair with Lucy, who is sitting on the chair just sort of preening and cleaning herself, and he's laughing like he or the cat just told a joke. He's like, that's a good one. Anyway, cat starts at you coming in the door and hears your voice and just jumps down and teeters over and starts rubbing up against your leg affectionately like nothing had happened.
Little devil, what have you been up to? I've been looking for you for like however many long time it's been. It's been a long time. What are you doing? Is there anything cool here? What are these? Calm. Breathe in the love. Push out the hate. What are you doing here, Lucy?
Excuse me. Sorry to interrupt you. Your reunion.
I'm talking to the cat. One moment. Lucy, what are you doing here?
Nothing, master. Purr. Rub. It's all good. I missed you. I got here first.
Later.
You're late.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
You're
Are
late.
you the person who can sell me stuff? Who's selling me things here? This is a cruel bookstore. What do you got to sell?
Actually, the proprietor here, his name is Morlebent. That gentleman helping the other customer over there in the corner. The gentleman with the bright red hair that he keeps shortly cropped, you see there.
Yeah. He looks more like a shopkeeper than you.
Well, you're going to have to wait. He's serving another customer. But if I could just have a moment of your time. He says, I understand you're one of the new town heroes.
You can say I am the town hero.
Really?
No.
So just between us small folk, he leans in, like, hey, brother. Right? He says, would you be the self-proclaimed leader of this party of heroes?
Oh, no. That's Lucy. She's the leader. But you were just talking with her, so she would have told you that.
He looks at you blankly, looks at the cat. Oh. Right. Well, I'd still like to hear your story. He says, anyway, how about we take a stool and you can keep an eye on the shopkeeper, and Morlebin, one more. He like points out that, anyway, this wizard like nods, be right with you, sir, that kind of thing. Please come, take a seat, take a load off.
Find a chair and hop up on it. Okay, what do you want?
He coughs
How
his
much
hat.
are you paying me?
Allow me to introduce myself. He says, my name is Jargin Whitmore, rumor monger, aficionado, and poet of the stars. He says, you have done this town a great service. And he nods and leans in. If it's payment you're looking for, he says, well, publicity that sells your name and your party's name, why, he says, wizards will be coming to you for your expertise. All I need is your story. What do you say?
I've got the best story there is. In fact, most people already know me.
Let's start with your name.
Narg Grin.
Oh, okay. At least you have a last name. And where are you from, Mr. Grin?
Kind of everywhere, really.
Where were you born?
Swamps. My pack used to just kind of roam. I don't really know where I'm started from.
Sort of had to learn the language.
Yeah.
Yeah, had to learn the language to learn the geography, right? I suppose, shall we say, a short green gentleman such as yourself would call, cities and everything as reference to your own people. I
They don't
understand
smell
completely.
very good. I like the swamp.
Really? Are you from this swamp?
Well, sometimes.
You're
I kind
not,
of travel.
you're not an agent of Balacola, are you? Because that would be...
Not-
You're not, are you?
Are we, Lucy?
Cat just shakes its head, but also looks like it's just flipping its ears.
Because, Lucy, we haven't really talked about who sent you to me. Was it the Vala that he was just talking about? We'll talk about that later. Anyways, what were you saying?
Cat starts hacking up a hairball, but nothing comes forth. It's kind of a hard no. It's kind of a hard no from Lucy.
I didn't summon skeletons. Stop it.
Summon skeleton. So you're a caster?
I'm a witch.
Really? No kidding.
Hmm.
He says, well, it is definitely a distinct pleasure and rare opportunity to meet someone in a vocation such as yourself. He says, tell me, let's see, what do I remember about witches? Well, I suppose every witch must have a familiar. With this fine young lady at your side here, paying you so much homage and attention, be your official a familiar? What did you call her? Louis?
Just a cat.
Oh.
No, I'm just joking. She's Lucy. She's magic. She gives me all my magic. Lucy.
Really?
It's short for Lucifer.
Well,
I'm
not
sure why.
not prying into anyone's secrets. I mean, if I told you how I rumored and mongered, I'd be out of a job. But I'm just curious, how does this relationship work exactly? Who's calling the shots here?
Well, I say, Lucy, give me magic, and Lucy gives me magic. So, I call the shot, and she helps me fire it.
Like a deity?
I don't know.
Like a cleric
Not sure
calling
how
on
that
it?
works.
No? Huh.
I say, Lucy, Lucy, we need help, and she'll give me a fireball or a
What?
skeleton or
Kind of sounds like it. I mean, you invoke a god's name, it gives you power, and whammy!
maybe Lucy's a god. Maybe I'm a god.
Okay, let's try something else. So you're a witch, not sure where you're from, you've traveled around a lot. What about family? Any living relatives?
Lots.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
got a proud mom or
We're
abusive
goblins.
father?
We're goblins. We kind of just are there.
Lots of
I
cousins.
have more brothers than I can count, more sisters than I can count, and I don't even know their names.
More cousins than a Dworkin dwarf, I bet.
No, goblins.
Right. Sorry. Just inside joke.
Oh, well, I'm so confused.
That's okay.
Anyways, what do you want from me? How are we going to be famous?
Well, you're well on your way. I mean, the town is starting, some of the townsfolk, not all of them, mind you, but of course, I'm looking to change that. Some of the townsfolk are calling you guys heroes for defending the town from the risen undead, from the curse of the gaunt light itself that shone down. Everybody saw it. And you know what else they saw? They saw you ridding the town with a lot of help from the townsfolk militia of that abomination that followed you all the way down the hill. And you helped return a whole bunch of their loved ones to rest.
They stabbed a whole dead creature and said they did it. We killed that thing.
Really now? Well, that's interesting. Anyway, he makes a note of that. He says, tell me, I'm assuming the rumors that you've spoken with the mayor and that you've been officially commissioned to deal with the swamp situation, shall we say, is the truth?
Swamp situation? What's
You know,
wrong
the-
with my swamp?
The gauntlet.
Oh, the god.
Keep it from shining down, bringing relatives that you don't want to see.
Well, I'm not going to officially say we've been asked to do anything, but we're not doing it because we just found out about it ourselves.
Okay. Can neither confirm nor deny. I feel you. You gotta play the politics, especially when you're involving the mayor. I understand completely. He says, bringing me to my next question. He says, let's suppose, theoretically speaking, that you guys hang around, that you continue to help this little lovely town of Otari from their problems of, shall we say, an ancient magical nature in a certain location that happens to be in a certain swamp that you claim to be familiar with. He says, shh. You say gauntlet, and everybody in the store just looks over at you. He's like, shh. Scoop, remember? You know, you want to be wealthy one day, I can help you with that. But now if you go blabbing every little thing to everybody, it kind of makes my research and rumors redundant. From now on, I want to be the first person you talk to when you guys come back from that ruin. And I'll actually throw in a little bit of copper and silver for you if the information you give me is good. Worthy of my readers.
I my other guys, and I mean, I'll let them know I'm doing it. But,
Oh, of course.
okay.
No, I want to talk to all of you.
Well,
But, you know, you are the leader. I'm pretty sure you can talk them into it. Charismatic guy with that many sharp teeth. I'm pretty sure you can talk people into a lot of things.
well, I don't want to, toot my own horn, but toot.
Okay. All right. I feel you. So, tell me, if I were to say to you, and he almost says what he said to the hobgoblin, he's like, you know what? Never mind. Scratch that. What about the future? I mean, you have a nomadic lifestyle, you're a powerful witch, and you suddenly decided to help this town, or are you like the medium? Are you broaching between, the powers in the swamp and the town? Are you also working for someone calling the shots in the swamp? And he looks down at Lucy. We both look at Lucy, like maybe it's her. Gives us a shiver.
What's it?
And she just goes back to preening herself.
I work for me, I guess.
You work
She
for you?
said I should go take a look at the shiny swamp tower fortress.
So...
Nudge. But I'm
Not it.
sure
I was
why.
about to do that. I love Troy just placed his finger on his nose, and I was literally reaching to the same thing. So not a double agent, huh? And he taps his big nose. All right, I feel you. So what about the future? Eh?
Well,
I-
we
look
don't
at-
live very long, so...
But look at Marlebin. Look what he's done.
Who?
The wizard you're here to buy from. I mean,
Oh,
you need something, and you came to him. That's proof that settling down, opening your own witchery brew or whatever you would do, even if it's only 5 years instead of 20. I mean, wouldn't that sound like a comfortable lifestyle?
Well, everybody wants the life. Maybe I'd open it in the swamp, though, because the city kind of sounds funny.
True, but you want to be around people that respect you, people that adore you, people that they feel beholden to you. You know what I'm saying?
If I'm famous for helping the swamp, they would trust the swamp. Trust the swamp, you can trust me. Trust me, buy what you want.
Are you some kind of druid as well? One of those archetypal guys that, have like a certain dedication halfway through their career?
I just like swamps.
Okay.
Yeah.
Weird. But, okay.
Magic. Swamps. Lucy cat. Smells good.
Anyway, Molderbin comes over and interrupts you guys. Greetings, young ones.
Oh,
He smiles. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were children. My bad. Gnome just gives him a flat look and gives you a nudge like, yep, this is the type of crap and discrimination we have to put up with. Well, that's my cue to leave. And he just thanks you. We'll talk later, like we said. In the swamp, as soon as you come out, let me know. Anyway, he tells you where he's staying. Or at least like a tavern where you can inquire and leave messages for him with the actual owner, and he'll pop up and get them. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm. Which one is that?
Depends the day. He actually tries not to sleep in the same place twice. So he'll actually move around. If there's 3, he'll just rotate. If there's 2, Crooksnook is 1. Anyway, you wanted to do a little shopping.
I'm just curious as to what they had in stock. Just kind of peruse the shelves.
All right. Well, I think enough time has gone by that besides reading in the library, besides getting your own actual ingredients from the seaside, Odd Stories is something I think that might by chance attract a certain halfling and a certain hobgoblin, but we'll have to talk about that next time. Say goodnight, Lucy.
Good night, Lucy. Meow.